Okay, so the pet team for this week will be one of the best teams in the meta. It's not the best, but it's one of the best. It's called Kovokination. It has a nice little synergy with using Kovok and the two undead cleavers. So, anyways, Kovok goes out first. Kovok will pretty much go out first like 95% of the time. Rarely do you ever not put out Kovok first. Even if your opponent has something which counters Kovok, you'll start off with Kovok first. And then he just goes into his little combo. First, it's always Poison Fang, then Black Claw, and then Pheromones, and then switch out or die if he hasn't died yet by the time he's got off those three abilities. Poison Fang does about half the damage of a basic attack up front, and then does 70 elemental damage every turn for 5 turns. Black Claw increases the damage your opponent takes from everything by 112 every turn for 3 turns. So if they have the Poison Fang dot up on them and you throw out Black Claw, they'll be taking a little bit more than the upfront damage of the Poison Fang every turn. So a little bit more than a basic attack. Little more than half of a basic attack every turn from the dot and Black Claw combo. Getting off a Black Claw with a dot on your opponent is actually a pretty hard thing to do because there aren't too many good pets that use Black Claw. Kovok and the Mechanical Scorpion are the only two who can actually get it off reliably in PvP without dying immediately. And Kovok is the only one who actually has a dot as well. So this combo is a ton of damage. And if your opponent stays in for the Poison Fang and the Black Claw and they decide to switch out when they have Pheromones up, they're going to take extra damage from the Pheromones. So it basically forces your opponent's pet to stay in if you get off Poison Fang and Black Claw. That's what the whole thing is. They are forced to basically just stay and deal with you, because if they switch out, they're going to die to Pheromones. Because Pheromones also benefits from Black Claw. Pheromones, it's a unique ability. I think there's only one other pet that actually has Pheromones. The Lovebird Hatchling. He's not as good as Kovok, though. Pheromones sprays the area with pheromones, dealing 70 beast damage every turn to non-active pets, last 3 turns. So it's basically the same damage as like a dot. It's like putting a dot on your opponent's backline pets. It doesn't affect their front pet, but it does affect the 2 back ones. So, a Poison Fang dot on both of them, which is not half bad. It only lasts for 3 turns, so like a 3-round dot and a 5-round cooldown. You rarely ever get off a second pheromones, but getting off one is more than enough, especially if your opponent is dumb enough to switch into the back row with a Poison Fang and a Black Claw, because they'll basically be taking Black Claw damage from 2 dots, which is enough to kill pretty much any pet. Because I can't really stress enough just how good Black Claw is. There's only a handful of pets who can even use them, and they're all good because of Black Claw. Alright, and he also has, the AoE. Next up, I should probably mention, AoE teams are very strong in the meta right now. They're kind of a little bit too strong. They should be nerfed because AoE teams kind of dominate everything. And that's because AoE teams are kind of, they're just really good right now. And Graves is a huge component of that. Graves is probably considered one of the best pets out right now. You get him for playing Heroes of the Storm. He has a nice little combo where he has 2 AoEs on cooldowns on 2 separate tiers. That way he can take both Bone Storm and Grave Destruction. Bone Storm does 250 damage to all your opponent's pets, but you take 10% of your health as damage at the end of the turn. So it's a tiny little recoil ability, has a 3-round cooldown. You'll usually be able to get off 2 Bone Storms before dying. Because I always start off with Bone Storm first, and then go into Grave Destruction, and then by the time they finally kill Graves, I'll have Bone Storm up again, so I get off 3 AoEs. Grave Destruction deals 668 damage to your opponent, evenly split amongst your opponent's pets. Man, I've been just messing up my words today. It also destroys objects created by both teams. That 666 damage, or 668 damage, split between your opponent's pets, is really good. It's not as much damage as a 3-pet Bone Storm, but the thing is, it always splits the damage. So if they only have 2 pets alive, it'll just split it 50-50, whereas Bone Storm always does 250 damage to all your opponent's pets. So if they have one pet alive and you use Bone Storm, it's only going to do 250 damage. If your opponent has 2 pets alive, 500 damage because they hit by 2. If they have 3 pets alive, 750. Is it 750? It's 500 plus 250. Yeah, I think it's 750. So it has a potential to do 750 damage with one ability, total amongst all the pets you hit with it, which is pretty damn high. That's higher than Grave Destruction, except Grave Destruction will always do 668 damage. Even if your opponent only has 1 pet left, it'll do that crap ton of just single target damage to them. Graves is pretty strong. In addition to that, he's also undead, which means he has the best racial in the game. Undead pets, when they die, they stay alive for 1 turn, and they have immunity, so they can't die during that turn, but then they die at the end of that turn. What this allows undead pets to do is to essentially get off 2 free abilities before kicking the bucket, while all other pets will probably die. Even mechanicals, with their second best racial in the game, they only come back to life with 20% health, and they don't get an immunity turn, so if they're killed during that 20%, it didn't really go to all that much use. While undead pets can't be killed during the turn, so they get off, the ability. If they were slow and they got killed that turn, they'll still get off the attack they were trying to do that turn when they got killed. Plus, they'll have the next turn of immunity to get off another attack, while all other pets would have just died and not have been able to get off either of those attacks. So that's why undead pets have the best racial. It allows them to get off 2 more abilities before kicking the bucket, where other pets would die. And his one ability, Skull Toss, it hits really hard, because Graves, in addition to being the only pet with 2 AoE cooldowns on 2 separate tiers, he also has really good stats. I mean, he's slow as shit, but undead pets don't need to be fast. In fact, most of them are really slow, which is fine. He has really high attack power for being an AoEer, at 314. The average pet has about 260 attack. So he has over 50 more than a normal pet, which is really high. Anything above 300 is good. And he has 314, which is pretty good himself. And he has 1600 health. The average pet has 1400 health. He has over 200 more health than the average pet. So not only can he hit hard, he's also kind of tanky. So Graves is just like an amalgamation of a whole bunch of really good things that make him one of the most overpowered pets in the game right now. Then we got the Weebomination, or I call him Weeaboo. The Weebomination, he's pretty good. He's not as good as Graves, but then again, most pets aren't, because Graves is kind of ridiculous. I mean, there are a handful of pets as good as Graves or better, but none of them are on this team. Weebomination is a really good pet too, because of his little ability right here called Cleave. He's the only pet in the game with Cleave. Cleave is a basic attack that splits its damage evenly between all your opponent's pets. So it's basically a Grave Destruction with no cooldown that it can just spam like crazy. So your opponent has 3 pets up, it's going to do AoE about 100 damage to all your opponent's pets. If they have 2 pets up, it'll split the damage, so it'll be about 150 to each pet. If they only have 1 pet up, it'll just be 300 damage, which is about a basic attack. So Cleave is never wrong to use. Since he has Cleave though, his other 2 abilities. Actually, you know what? Consume Corpse is really good. Usually Weebomination will come out last. Since he does split damage, he doesn't really care if your opponent has a whole bunch of pets alive or not. Kovok and Graves do care if your opponent has a pet dead or not, because Pheromones only does damage to your opponent's backline pets. So if they have 2 pets alive in the back row, it does its max amount of damage. Bone Storm cares if your opponent has all 3 pets alive, because if all 3 pets are alive, it'll do max amount of damage. Weebomination doesn't care, because Cleave will always just split the damage. So if they only have 1 pet alive, it'll do the exact same damage as if they had 3 pets alive. And Weebomination also has a crap ton of health. 1800, 400 more than the average pet. This is actually like pretty high even for an HH type. There are other pets who have way more health than him, but this is, he's like one of the highest health good pets in the game with 1800. And he has an ability which takes advantage of his high health. Not only is he hard to kill, has a really good cleave ability, but he's got Consume Corpse. If one of your other 2 pets are dead, this is why you don't care if Kovok dies or not. Because Consume Corpse allows you to eat one of your allies and gain 50% of your total health back. You can only consume 1 corpse at a time. So You don't really care if Kovok dies because he's going to do a crap ton of damage before it kicks the bucket because he's actually kind of speedy. 305 speed, he will be outsped by any fast pet, but he is faster than any other normal pet that doesn't have any kind of speed variation, because anything above 300 speed is pretty fast. So he'll be able to outspeed a large majority of the meta, but he'll still get outsped by all other fast pets. But even then, he'll still be able to get a whole bunch of abilities because he's fast. Since he's a beast type, he does need speed. He's not an undead with their OP ratio where they don't care about speed. He actually does kind of care about that, but he'll still die, which will allow your Weebomination to heal up for 50% of his health. And a 50% of your health on one of the highest health pets in the game with 1800, that's a really big heal. What is it, like, I want to say 900. It's about a 900 heal, which is ridiculous because the average basic attack does 300 damage. It's 3 times the amount of the average basic attack, so that's like, you know, recovering 3 turns of damage to you. And his last ability, they're both kind of garbage. It doesn't matter which one you take. I like to take Haymaker sometimes because it has a 50% chance to do 700 damage, but if you miss, you're stunned for a turn. So I like to just use this on his turn of immunity if I decide not to end off with him. That way I can try to go for 700 damage. I sometimes miss and then I get stunned, but I'm going to die the next turn anyway, so it doesn't matter. I never actually use Haymaker when he's still alive and not in his turn of immunity. His other ability, Corpse Explosion, is kind of bad too. Instantly kills the user, causing 15% of their health as undead damage to the enemy target. And they take 5% of their maximum health as undead damage every turn for 4 turns. It's actually not a lot of damage, considering it kills you. I mean, you can use it during your turn of immunity, and it's fine because you're going to die anyway, but I mean, it's not a really good dot, even though it has you kill yourself. Haymaker will do a lot more damage than the dot does if it hits, but usually you end off in the Weebomination. He never actually dies before Graves or Kovok, if you have to actually wait that long, because they do a ton of damage by themselves before Weebomination even comes in. Most of the time, you'll be able to win your fight before Weebomination even has to come out, with just Graves and Kovok doing all the brunt of the damage. Oh man, what a team to start off with. I'm going to start off with Kovok. Haunt teams are annoying. I want to put a dot on him before he can do anything, though. I was expecting an Ethereal. I was kind of hoping he wouldn't do one. Ethereal, of course. I was actually thinking, like, what if he goes Ethereal first? I can throw out Pheromones, like, right off the bat. Instead, I want to kill Graves as soon as possible, because Graves is a huge problem to my team. He has a nice little anti-AoE, having one of his pets pretend to be dead so he takes no damage in the backline. One of the reasons Haunt is just very powerful. Alright. So he's got the bleed on him, Black Claw. I could throw out Pheromones to do a tiny bit of damage too. Actually, you know what? I'm about to die anyway. As soon as I die, Pheromones. Oh, cool. He's going to take that extra damage in the back row. That was actually a nice switch. I mean, for me, not for him. That's pretty bad for him. Looks like he's going to stun me and try to let me die. I'm not going to switch out. He's just going to kill me. He's just letting the dots tick on his Graves in the back row. Such a bad switch for him. Oh, this is great. Alright, now we've got Graves out. I'm going to use Bone Storm. Oh shit, he's got Flank. This could be bad. I'm going to use Bone Storm first, because if I use Grave Destruction, it's going to split the damage between the already dead Graves. So I'm going to use Grave Destruction right now instead. And he was able to kill me in 2 turns. Wow, he got lucky with those flanks. That's actually fine. I only needed him to get off 3 abilities anyway. I'll still be able to kill him. See, 1 Skull Toss. More than enough to take out that dude. And then we've got a Ghastly Kid, who has all of his cooldowns up. And the Weebomination, who has a 50% heal. Yeah, he was not going to win that. Kovokination too strong. Alright, look what we've got here. An Iron Starlet, a Graves, and a Servant of Demidos. Iron Starlet can one-shot my Kovok. Servant of Demidos can one-shot my Kovok. Graves, he's not that big of a deal. Should be able to do some nice damage to him before Kovok kicks the bucket. I don't really care if he dies, to be honest, just as long as he gets off his 3 abilities. Alright, now let's go for a Black Claw. And then Pheromones. I should be able to survive a single windup. Oh shit. He's going straight for the Supercharge combo. Cool, that means I get off my 3 abilities before getting myself a free switch. Thanks for the free switch, Iron Starlet. You're doing me a huge favor. Alright, Graves. Let's see if we can clean him up. Let's go for a Bone Storm. Looks like he's going to go straight for another wind-up. That's fine. I don't mind. The poison will kill him right here. He'll come back alive. And I could save Grave Destruction, to be honest, for when the other 2 pets are out. I'd rather get it off cooldown. I don't care if he gets my Graves hard, because the Iron Starlet's dead too. And Pheromones, I kind of wanted to let Iron Starlet live a little bit longer than that. I guess not. Then I was going to go for some Skull Tosses while Graves takes some damage in the back row. Tiny bit of damage, I should say. Servant of Demidas is going to heal up with this Siphon Anima right now. It'd be really weird if he didn't. Oh, I wasn't able to get off another Graves Destruction. I guess I should have saved it and just used a Skull Toss on him. Alright, we'll use a Bone Storm to kill the Servant right here and do some nice little damage to Graves. And then I was going to fight the Graves one-on-one with my Weebomination, who has a 50% heal. I think I should be fine unless he also takes Consume Corpse, which I don't think he has because most Graves don't do that. Oh, he did take it. He was at less health than me anyway. That should be fine. This should still be fine. Maybe Grave Destruction's gonna hurt. Alright, I'm still at 60%. That's fine. Let's keep going. I need to kill him before he's able to kill me. Fuck, he got a crit. Damn it, that's really bad. It's forcing me to use my Consume Corpse off cooldown. Alright, I could go for the Haymaker right now to try to chance a kill. Instead, I can just kill him normally. You've gotta be shitting me. What? What was with those crits? This should have been an easy kill for me. He got 2 crits back to back. Oh my god. He was able to force a tie because he's the luckiest Graves in the world. Okay, first off, most Graves don't take Consume Corpse. So there was a good chance he wouldn't have that and I would have won. Second off, 2 crits in a row. Two really hard-hitting crits. That's... If he had just not gotten one of those, I probably would have been fine. But 2 of them back to back? Well, that's pet battling for you. Thanks to pet battling, I think I'd do fine at gambling just because I'm so used to stuff like that happening. I used to be so much worse than Mist though. It's actually gotten a lot better, but still. He got so lucky, and even then he was only able to force a tie because I was able to destroy him. Alright, so a level 24 Crescent Owl, a Jade Oozling, and a Cinder Pup. Even if this was level 25, I doubt I'd have a problem winning this. Alright, Cinder Pup's coming out first. I'm just going to do the combo like normal. I don't really have to change anything. I can win this without even thinking. Alright, so he's got Crouch Up. That's fine. Still not going to change what I'm doing. Doesn't have an AoE, so I can actually switch out Kovok. Should I switch out now, or should I just throw out Pheromones and take it? Yeah, I'm just going to take his damage. I don't mind having the Shattered Defense on that. Alright, now let's switch out into Graves. And then we got Pheromones out. Oh shit, the dot stays on him. This is really gonna hurt Kovok back there. Alright, so Bone Storm first and then Graves Destruction? Sure, why not? Bone Storm first right off the bat. Add to that Pheromones damage in the back row. While I have a nice matchup against him, and my Kovok is really hurt in the back row because I decided to stay in one more turn to throw out a Pheromones. Poor Kovok. He tried his best, and he was only able to get a kill on the Cinder Pup, which is still pretty damn good, if you ask me. Alright, I'm gonna go switch to the Weebomination. I don't feel like letting any of my pets die today. So let's go, Graves. I mean, Weeaboo. I forgot I nicknamed him. Alright, now I've got him dead. I have a little dot on me with Corrosion. He might have Absorb as his other ability, which is fine. Oh, I really wanted Weeaboo to be able to kill him without losing any pets, but it looks like I might lose a pet. Did he just spam Corrosion? Why is he not using his one ability? Oh wait, do we have the same speed? Wow, he's pretty slow. He does have Absorb. Alright, looks like Weeaboo's gonna die. He's gonna get hit by the Expunge. It'd be stupid if I switched out for that, because if I switched in one of the other pets, they both would have died from Expunge as well. Graves might have been able to live it, but trying to kill a Jade Oozling. Let's see, I can just go for Cleave to kill him, or I can go for Haymaker. I'm gonna go for Haymaker. Let's see if I can get that off. Ah, I missed. No! That's actually fine, I don't care. I'm gonna kill him with the Grave Destruction. Oh no, actually he was able to heal up above 35% health. He's gonna survive one more turn. Alright, now let's go for a Skull Toss to finish him off. The Jay's Oozling, he is hanging on for life like crazy. Alright, that actually kind of seemed like he had a chance at beating me. When really, it would have been more efficient if I just hadn't switched out Kovok and just kept attacking with him. And then just let Graves come in and do his thing. But I wanted to try to win that without losing any of my pets, and I ended up losing the Weebomination. So sad.